This opens a hearing on House Bill 629. Representative Williams.
Mr.
The
Chair,
rostrum is yours.
just to clarify, the opening is part of the proponent's time.
If you're going to take a long opening, we will adjust accordingly. I would like to give the proponents an hour. If you're just going to take a 2-minute one, we'll just go right into the proponents.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be efficient. Greetings, members of the committee. Mr. Chair, my name is Kathleen Williams. For the record, I represent House District 65 in beautiful Bozeman, Montana. It's my honor to bring to you today House Bill 629 to ratify a water rights compact with the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes, a project many years in the making. This is a historic moment. At the February meeting of the Compact Commission, of which I am a member, there was overwhelming public support to move forward the long negotiated compact and bring it to this legislature. The Commission at that meeting voted to do so, and we are now fulfilling that commitment from your Compact Commission. The legislature set up that Compact Commission. So again, this is historic, and you are now part of it. This is the last compact to be negotiated by that commission. This compact resolves long-standing disputes. It protects state-based water users, and it provides for orderly water development and administration moving forward. First, some background. What's a compact? It's a negotiated settlement. This one relates to water rights and water use. The rights being quantified are two types. One is the reserved water rights, and a reserved water right is that water right implied when land is reserved from the public domain, like a national forest or a national park or a tribal reservation. So the water rights go with it that support the purpose of that reservation. And these compacts quantify those rights. Another type of right that's being quantified in this compact is different from the other water rights in Montana, or the other tribal compacts in Montana. It arises from a type of treaty called a Stevens Treaty, which is the treaties that were negotiated in the Columbia Basin. Stevens Treaty, the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes are the only tribes in Montana with the Stevens Treaty, and those treaties guaranteed that the tribes could hunt and fish in their usual and accustomed locations. So similar to reserved water rights, this compact quantifies those off-reservation water rights related to supporting fisheries off-reservation under the usual and accustomed portion of the treaty. So the question for the legislature, this is the big policy question, is whether we litigate or negotiate. We have chosen to negotiate, and this compact is the result of that negotiation. Other states have chosen to litigate tribal water rights and have been doing so for 30 years in some cases and spent millions of dollars. Montana has an incredible success rate on negotiating water rights compacts to protect state-based water users. So you have a handout that has several items in it. One is a background information on the Compact Commission. There's 4 legislative members. 21 units have been negotiated. For example, the Forest Service, Ag Research Stations, and tribes. The goal of these negotiations is to protect state-based water users, to protect their water rights. Elements of compacts often include subordination of the tribal right to the priority dates of existing state-based rights. Some of them have allocations of stored water. Some of them have money for projects. Some of them have off-reservation development limitation agreements, etc. They're negotiated by the parties, moved to the legislature by the commission, and approved by the legislature, then approved by Congress if necessary, if there are federal parties involved, and then the compact is incorporated into the Montana Water Court adjudication so that everyone is on the same playing field with state-based rights. The last 3 compacts negotiated by the Commission are being heard this session. 2 will be heard this afternoon in the Natural Resources Committee. So the CSKT compact is unique. It has on-reservation and usual and accustomed water rights. It proposes a new sort of water law for the reservation because of the checkerboarded land holdings in it, where you have tribal land and then non-tribal. There's also a large federal irrigation project included, and so that has added some challenge to the compact. Negotiations started 12 years ago, and again, this is a historic moment. So there's three elements of the compact. There's the compact itself, which quantifies the water rights. There's something called the Unitary Management Ordinance that creates a board to co-administer water rights on the reservation. And then there's a water use agreement, which is not part of this compact, but it's related, because that is an agreement between the tribes and the irrigation project. So this is linked to that. So that's the three-legged stool of the CSKT negotiations. Just recently, the governor, as you may notice if you made your way through the 100 and some pages of the bill, there was bonding in it. And we're pleased to announce that the governor has agreed to include in his budget actual cash payments to start the implementation of this compact. And so that requires an amendment to the bill, which Helen has, and if you could hand that amendment out. And then, Mr. Chair, I'll just take you through the bill very quickly, just the major sections. So just so you know where everything is, and also I did draft up a table of contents for folks. I'm not going to hand it out to the group, but there are some extra copies if someone wants a table of contents to see what's on what page. Article 1 is the preamble. Note that parts of it talk about all the residents of the reservation. It's mentioned twice in that preamble, so all the residents are being considered here. Article 2, page 3 are the definitions. Article 3, page 8 is the quantification of the water rights for the tribes by basin, by type, period of use. There's call protection. Call is when a senior user can request that a junior user stop diverting water so that that senior user can use the water. Article 4 is implementation of the compact. That starts on page 24. The trust status, the administration. It talks about the water management board that's going to be set up for the reservation. There's a water rights database, and this is part of the amendment that the tribes and DNRC will start to develop as soon as this is ratified. Article 5 starts on page 38. That's the disclaimers and sort of reservations of rights. All the protections that the Commission and the negotiators felt needed to be in this compact are in that section and elsewhere. Article 6 starts on page 38. That's the money portion. Again, we're taking the bonding out, but there will be bonding proposed and future contributions to projects on the reservation for water efficiency, measurement, administration, et cetera. Article 7 is the ratification and how it gets incorporated into the decrees. That starts on page 42. And then the legislation and the tribal ratification, the congressional ratification starts on page 45. Then on page 46, you have over 50 pages of basically what will be a new water law for the administration. It closely mirrors state water law that we already have, but that took a lot of text to implement, so that's 50 pages to page 117. The implementation account is discussed on page 118, and then the remainder of the bill is about the money, about the database, rulemaking, water commissioners, enforcement, etc. I'll note that the very last section on page 132 is a contingent effectiveness section. As you may have heard, there was a bit of a hiccup with the water use agreement between about the irrigation project. Again, that's not part of your bill, but it is important. There was a hiccup there, and there is some court action. So the last section of the bill says that this isn't effective unless there's an agreement passed by the board and the tribes for the irrigation project. Mr. Chair, that's the bill. I can describe the amendment in more detail if you'd like. It basically removes, in the title, there's some other compact aspects for other tribes, and that is being removed. So this is becoming just a purely CSKT compact bill. The bonding is being removed, and it's being replaced with cash and clarification on the fact that we don't need a 2/3 vote then without the bonding. We do need the amendment because that's what keeps it a revenue bill and gives us the time to consider it. Mr. Chair, your handout includes information on the commission. It includes 3 summary sheets, one each on each of the 3 legs of that stool that I mentioned. Maps that are also, we're going to have them in the room. They're here if you'd like to look at them in a larger context. So, Mr. Chair, this is a historic moment. I thank the committee for your willingness to wade into water rights and tribal state relations and federal. You will hear some concerns about this bill, that it's not ready, that people need more time to understand it, that it violates the Constitution, that it harms water users. We have answered all these questions and will do so again today. So the question is, do we litigate or negotiate? When we talk about this decision, sometimes the litigation part starts to sound a bit threatening. Don't let it. Please accept the reality that that is the decision here. This is the opportunity to not litigate. The negotiations have been in good faith, based on science, rooted in strong legal precedent, and meticulously detailed, hence the many pages of documents, background documents. This is the deal, and now is the time. I'll now turn this over to proponents and opponents, and thank you and all the participants for what I'm sure will be a respectful, effective dialogue on this important policy decision. Mr. Chair, I respectfully reserve the right to close.
Thank you, Representative Williams.